Hi, I'm Chris and you're watching Park Pass, and today I'm gonna do one of the most ambitious videos I've ever done for the channel. I'm gonna do a secret revealed around every single attraction and ride here at Disneyland. I'll do a minimum of one secret for each attraction. Sometimes we'll do more. Let's do this. Let's go through the whole park and talk about every single attraction. You ready? Let's do it. Okay, so we're gonna walk into Disneyland here and I'm gonna talk about every single attraction and ride at Disneyland. We'll do at least one secret or one cool fact that you probably don't know about every single attraction. I don't know how long this video is gonna take or how we're gonna be able to do this because there is a lot to do. All right, are you guys ready? Let's start. All right, so right when you first come into Main Street, you're gonna see great moments with Mr. Lincoln. This was the brainchild of Walt Disney, and this is really kind of the birth of the animatronics. Walt Disney, when he was little, did a school report on Abraham Lincoln and became enamored with Abraham Lincoln and loved him. And so that's why he had such a love for Abraham Lincoln. And when he had time, the kind of wherewithal and the technology to do animatronic, he wanted to do Abraham Lincoln because he loved that president. Next, let's talk about the horse carriage right here. There's the horse carriage. It's pulling the little trolley car. Every morning before the park opens, a man or woman, hi! They go through and they have a long brush and they put vegetable oil on the brush and they paint the tracks. It makes it the wheels easier to roll, less friction for the horse when they pull the horse pulls the trolley car. Also, every one of the horses here has a name, and if you ever want to know what the horse's name is, it's simple. You look, there's the horse right here, but if you get on the trolley cart, right up here, you're gonna see the horse's name, and today's horse's name is Rogue. So that's Rogue the horse. These horses are incredibly spoiled. They're well taken care of, and they pull the track. Now, it used to be that the track would always go to the right and around. Now they change it, it does it more of a figure 8, and the reason they do that is because it's healthier for the horses to pull one direction and then the other direction rather than always just pull to the right, I guess. So that's one of the things that they do here on Main Street. Now, I'm a little bit later in the day, so the Main Street vehicles aren't out and about, but there are Main Street vehicles. The Main Street vehicles, of course, are 5/8 scale. Now, the one, I think a lot of people know this, the most famous one is the fire engine, which is Walt Disney's favorite one. And they still, it goes, you could sit in that, they'll let you sit in the driver's seat and honk the horn. The last public photo that Walt Disney ever took before he passed away was in that car in front of the fire engine, in front of the Walt Disney Castle with Mickey Mouse. And they let you sit in that car, the same seat. First time I did that, I actually kind of got a little emotional to think that he was sitting right where I'm sitting. So it's absolutely phenomenal. All right, let's continue down Main Street. We're gonna go down Main Street now. This is something I think is interesting. Technically, the only ride in all of Disneyland is Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. Everything else is called an attraction. They're called attractions. So sometimes you'll get Disney aficionados, people who love Disney, will ask you, they'll always come up to me like, how many rides does Disney have? And I'm always like, one. They're like, oh, you know that, because technically they only have one ride. But I call them rides. I'm not always call them attractions because sometimes people, they're not familiar that they're called attractions. So I just say rides because everybody knows what a ride is. Oh, I think the horses are coming. So let's just walk by. Here it is. Here comes Rogue. Do a little wave. Here goes Rogue. Hi! Thank you so much! And there they go. There it goes. I love those little horses. Hi. Okay, and we're going to continue down. I want you to put it down in the comments down below if you were doing this tour, how would you do it? Would you go right to Tomorrowland? Would you go left into Adventureland? Would you go straight into Fantasyland or Frontierland? I think, oh my gosh! Look at that little muffin! All right, that was David from Fresh Baked. Probably the very best YouTube channel for news updates about Disneyland or Disney in general. If you're not subscribed, you should probably do that because he knows a lot. Okay, now what I was saying here, would you go left, right? I'm not going to say straight or to Frontierland because that I kind of want to make the easy little loop. I think we're going to start in. So where would you go? Don't put it down. Type it in before I start. We'll see if we're on the same wavelength. I'm going to go to Tomorrowland first. Normally, I almost always go left, but I think for this ease of this video, we'll start Tomorrowland, go into Fantasyland, Toontown, come back through Fantasyland, go to Frontierland, Star Wars Land, then turn around, come in. Because I have to hit every single attraction. Oh, you guys, it's Halloween time. Okay, we're gonna turn right here and go into into Tomorrowland. All right, so here we go. We're gonna enter in. Now the first attraction that we see there is the Astro Orbiter. Now the Astro Orbiter used to be on all the way at the end of this. I'll show you when we get down there. It used to be up high and you'd have to ride an elevator to get up to it. But they refurbished it, and when they went to bring it out, it weighed too much for the platform, so they couldn't use it there. So they brought it right out here into the front. Another fun fact of this is this ride is in multiple Disney parks, but every place it's like a different name. It's like Astro Orbiter, just the Orbiter. The other one's called like I can't remember what the names are, but they all have different names. So even though they have this attraction in multiple Disney parks, it's not named the same in any of the parks. And they widened the rockets a little while ago, but they have one of the old rockets on display down here. I'll show you that in just a second. Let's go into Tomorrowland. A lot of people say Tomorrowland needs a facelift and an update. For me, when I was a kid, this was my favorite land, and so I have really good feelings towards it. First attraction here, we're gonna see, second one I guess, is Star Tours. The original idea, Tony Baxter wanted to have this be a roller coaster, and he wanted it to be set in Dagobah. You know, that's the swamp planet in Empire Strikes Back. And the idea was he wanted to have, hi guys. Hi. He wanted to have Yoda, little animatronic with his arm out, raising the X-Wing, and you'd be an X-Wing, being raised out of the swamp and then flying. But of course, there wasn't enough room, so they ended up scrapping that idea. It's a really cool idea though. When you're going through though, there's also, and I'm gonna say this wrong, you guys, so I apologize, but you can see when it goes in, so from the right top there, it says Creative Forces of Disney and George Lucas. You'll see you'll listen to over the announcement. There's an announcement for Sakul Ergo, whatever, and that's George Lucas's name backwards. Then we're gonna turn right over here. You're gonna see Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters. This attraction is also at lots of different Disney parks. But as you get on the little car, you'll notice the car has names. It's like XP 37, 38, 39, depending on which Disney park you have. They have different naming conventions for the cars. It's gonna be XP 37 is Paris. I think here's 39, 38 I think is in Tokyo. So the Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters. Now I'm gonna give a massive secret, and some people who are really good at this are gonna be angry at me. But Zurg, the main bad guy, has a little Z right here. Hi, how are you? So the Zurg, he has like a little Z right here in his chest. Now, right below the chest, right about here, it's about 3 inches below, there's a little teeny tiny hole about that big. If you shoot that hole, that is worth 50,000 points. So that's how people get, that's how I get a million or a million plus, is when you see Zurg, you don't aim for the targets around him, or you don't aim for the Z. It's right below, and a little teeny tiny hole there. You hit that hole, it's worth 50,000 points. And so you always want to get stopped right there, hopefully, and then you get that. You can just rack up the points. So even if you don't get stopped, you should be able to clear about 200,000 points or 250,000 points just by hitting that Zurg, that secret spot. Where are they located? Most people aim for the Z. They're not the Z. See his little chest plate? About halfway down the chest plate, right there, boop, there's a little teeny tiny circle. That is where the hidden Zurg spot is. If you hit that, you get 50,000 points. That's right. And once you start hitting it, boom, just keep hitting it. And that is how you get into the millions. All right, let's continue on and go down and take a look at Space Mountain. Space Mountain, of course, debuted in Florida in 1975. They brought it here to Disneyland in 1977. They dug a hole that actually goes down the ground quite a bit because they didn't want the spire of Space Mountain to ellipse the Matterhorn. So in order to make the spire lower, they dug, yes, hi, how are you? Good. All right, so they lowered it so that way the spire wasn't taller. The other thing is, I think really interesting, when they opened this here in 1977, when you go through the line, you're gonna see it says Station 77. It's always talking about the number 77 because it was debuted in 1977. Now, when they first opened up this attraction, before it was open to the public, they had some astronauts for the Mercury missions. Now, Mercury is first and then Apollo was second. They had some astronauts who worked on the Mercury missions, and they came and rode the roller coaster before it opened to the public. And some of them said, that's scarier than going to space. Now, this really isn't an attraction anymore. This is called America Sings. It used to be an attraction, but it's not anymore. And but it used to rotate, and it's on underneath this building. There's a railroad track, a circular railroad track that makes the building spin. It hasn't done that in years, but the railroad track is done. It was made out of metal and wood. The wood has completely rotted, so the building cannot move. It is locked in stationary place and can no longer move. But yeah, it used to move. All right, let's continue on this way. And that is a platform I was talking about that the Astro Orbiter would have sat upon, but it's too heavy when they first did that, so it can no longer sit there. So let's go down here and talk about Autopia. Autopia, I love Autopia. Autopia is a very divisive attraction. Most people don't seem to like it, particularly adults. Children, though, love it. It really was a visionary thing, though, Walt Disney did, because when this came out and opened in 1955, was an opening day attraction. The only opening day attraction here in Tomorrowland that's still here is that there weren't freeways back then, and they were just getting in. He's like, this is the transportation of the future. Now it's so much in the future that it's not even just, we're past it. Now it's old hat. Oftentimes people ask me, they're like, well, are they ever going to go to complete electric vehicles? I don't know. It's powered by Honda. By that means Honda is a sponsor of this particular attraction. As long as Honda is a sponsor, I don't think they will ever change that to pure electric. But every single color of car that you see out there, those are the colors that you can actually purchase if you were to purchase a Honda. So like that green, the white, every single car, the black, the red, these are all colors that are available at Honda. You'll notice at the front, there's a little Honda emblem. Another cool fact about this attraction, when it first opened, there was no guide rail in the center. Now it has a guide rail in the center. But at the time, there was, when it first opened, there wasn't. And hi guys! There wasn't like this guide rail. And so that the cars, they had some jokesters though who picked up the car and turned it around and were going the opposite direction. So, and there was also, when it first opened, they had a police car. One police car, and then every other car was just normal. I think 1 or 2 police cars. Everybody wanted to ride in the police car. I wonder if they still have that, people who want to ride the police car nowadays. There's the monorail. Monorail opened in 1959. And it's a marvel of engineering. It actually has a plaque by the Engineering Society. Showcasing what a great achievement this is. One of my favorite stories is how, and I think a lot of people knows the story, is how Richard Nixon, who was then vice president, technically was kidnapped. When they were debuting, it was the first opening up before they opened up the public, they had Richard Nixon come down here, who was the vice president at the time, and he was being a native of California, and they were talking about how this could be a new way of transportation in the future. And he was down here as Walt Disney, and they walked on the train, and Bob Gurr, he closed the doors and took off without Vice President Nixon's security detail. So technically, he would have been labeled as kidnapped, because they have to go to security detail everywhere. If you don't have it, if you take somebody without a security detail, they're considered kidnapping for like a president or vice president. So technically, Bob Gurr and Walt Disney kidnapped Richard Nixon on the monorail, but they just made a loop. They came back, and of course, he was fine. Right below the monorail, though, you see the submarine, the Finding Nemo submarine voyage. This is the most expensive attraction for Disney to run. I think I've heard estimates that it costs about $650,000 a day. And I don't know if that's true, but I've been told that it is super expensive to run. The attraction, of course, first was just this battle grave submarines, and you would go on the attraction, and they redid it, of course, for Finding Nemo. But for many years, it did sit vacant. Now, one of the cool things about this attraction is you ride the attraction, the little porthole that you look through, air is blowing, there's a little vent there blowing air onto the window. Most people assume that the air there is so the windows don't fog. Not really. You know what that air is for? Is they found that sometimes people get claustrophobia when they get on the submarine. But when they put their face in that porthole and they feel that air on their face, it reduces the chance of people getting motion sick and also their claustrophobia. So that's what the air is really for. There's the submarines. They've all been painted. When they reopened it for Finding Nemo, they painted in the bright yellow that they are. And they also, underneath, you have a bunch of coral. The coral is made out of crushed glass. They had a different colored glass. They crushed it and made the coral out of the crushed glass, because it doesn't, the crushed glass retains its color underwater. They don't have to keep like repainting it or whatever. It just lets them just keep the coral there, and it stays with because of the crushed glass. Next attraction here is the Matterhorn. Opened up in 1959, same time as the monorail did. I want you to notice that little hole right there. Let me back up. Hello, hi. All right, I'm just turning around here and backing up so you can see that hole a little bit better. Right there. Originally, Disney had a Skyway attraction. The Skyway attraction would go right through the Matterhorn. You'd be able to go through and hear Harold the Yeti, the Abominable Snowman, I guess, scream. The mountain has changed a lot. One of the cool things is they kept adding more and more paint to the mountain to make it look more like it had snow on it. And eventually it got to the point where the whole mountain was white. It was all white. But they went through several years ago and they removed a lot of the old paint off of it. But if you want to see the side that has the most paint, is you want to look to the top, look on the north side, and that side has the most paint, just like the real mountain would, the Matterhorn in Switzerland. The north side has the most snow on it. So yeah, it's kind of fun to look at old pictures of the Matterhorn where it's completely white. So it's very interesting that they did that. The Matterhorn is also the very first steel tubular roller coaster. It's also known as the Backcracker because it is rough. Rough. The Matterhorn bobsleds is a classic, but yeah, you have to be prepared. It is going to bounce you and jostle you all around. Now, these are the different flags of Switzerland. And I remember one time I thought to myself, I was like, those would be the coolest pins, like for pin traders. How cool would that be if they had like each one of those pins? But I found out they can't do that because I think each one of those little placards is the state flag of Switzerland. Like Switzerland has different states or provinces, and each one of those is a different province or flag of Switzerland, so they don't have the rights to do that. Do you know what the best thing about Switzerland is? I don't, but the flag's a big plus. Get it? All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and take us into Toontown. By Toontown, we'll stop by the It's a Small World and talk about that attraction. Then we'll go to Toontown and talk about those attractions. And then we'll come on out and hit the rest of them in Fantasyland. Okay. There's a lot. Fantasyland has the most attractions of all the lands. There's just a lot of them there. It's also the most crowded of all the lands, Fantasyland. Oh, I think the little band up here is playing. Let's see if we go see the band. Oh, I got something to do a little photo on the band left, but that's okay. We've seen the band before. There's Bert right there, you know, this nice little jacket, little striped jacket. Here we are at It's a Small World. They are currently refurbishing it. It's a Small World is one of the best attractions. It's a very good attraction for little kids to learn about and to go on and enjoy some of the Disney magic. Let me see if I can go down and maybe get a little bit better view from it if I go down here. Now, when you first get on the attraction, you might notice that a lot of the dolls in it, they all look the same, have same facial structures. That's because they only had a few, I think 2 or 3 molds, and every doll comes off those molds. Since then, they've kind of changed it up a little bit, but you can see all the original ones all have kind of the same facial structure. They look the same, and they just put different hair on them, or because they only have 3 molds. And there's a little bit better view. You can see the track here. This track here, there's 2 tracks. There's the right and left. The one facing the way we're looking, this is the left, this will be the right. The left side is if you have disabilities. They have different boats you can get on if you have disability. This is the only attraction. There's not a hidden Mickey in this attraction. There is during the holiday time. The holiday display, they have a hidden Mickey on it. But during the ride, there's no hidden Mickey on it. But what it does have, in every single room that you go in here, you'll see there's a sun and a moon in every room. There's a sun and moon because the song talks about under golden sun, something moon. But so every room has a sun and a moon in it when you ride the attraction of It's a Small World. Before the pandemic, it was estimated that It's a Small World was the most played song, continuously played song, because when with having It's a Small World in Japan and in France and here in the United States, the sun would never set on that song. That song was continuously playing somewhere around the world. And I think it did that for like 30 some odd years until the pandemic hit. Well, there's a rare character. I see the genie's head right over there. And we're gonna go right down here. We're gonna go into Toontown, guys, and check out Toontown. right, we're walking right down here to Mickey's Toontown. Mickey's Toontown was opened, I think, in 1993. Maybe it's 94. I think it's 93. And when it first opened, it was a big deal because they hadn't had a new land in a long time. Of course, it's not the newest land anymore. We have Batuu, which is now Star Wars land. Galaxy Edge is the newest land. It kind of got a little while there. It wasn't too popular. People weren't coming for a while. It was always kind of empty. But it's had new life revitalized into it because of the mini Mickey's Runaway Railway. We're going to go look here at this first attraction. This is Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin. It has a deceptively long line. So probably one of the best lines. You get in here, the line goes all the way through the buildings, goes back, and you feel like you're in the world of cartoons. It's about a 45-minute wait if you have the whole line. So it gets very long. So it looks like right there, it's deceptive because you can see the cars going by. So people think, oh, there's no line. But as you can see, it's a 55-minute wait, waiting inside. Something very interesting about this particular attraction is when you first start this ride, you can see Jessica Rabbit, a trunk of a car. When you ride the ride here in California, she's wearing a trench coat and a hat. Now, they put that hat on her. In the movie, she never wears a trench coat or hat like that. They put that in here because Disney was worried that they were going to get complaints because she's kind of a provocative character. My wife Amanda, that really bothered her because she loves Jessica Rabbit. She feels like that's the whole point of Jessica Rabbit. She's not bad, she's just drawn that way. In Tokyo Disney, though, you can see her without the trench coat and the hat. She's just in the red sequin dress that she wears in the movie.
Like, this is going to be Jessica Rabbit.
Let's see if Jessica Rabbit's in her dress or overcoat. Nope, no trench coats for Jessica. But here, they felt like the need to, I don't know, to kind of clean up Jessica Rabbit's appearance, I guess. They did it without having any complaints. They decided to do it because they're worried they might get complaints. When this opened up, it's a very popular attraction, but a lot of children nowadays, they don't even know who Roger Rabbit was. When Roger Rabbit came out, it was like huge and everywhere, and everybody loved it. It was such a marvel of animation, and so I brought it here. Now it's kind of lost a little bit of its luster, so people don't really know the character as much anymore. All right, so let's go to this next one here. This is the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. This is the only attraction that features Mickey Mouse prominently. If you before this ride was open, there was no attractions in Disneyland that had Mickey Mouse as the main protagonist, which is kind of weird to think this is Disneyland. Mickey and Mickey's Runaway Railway has more hidden Mickeys in it than any other attraction. Where It's a Small World doesn't have any. This one has over 100 hidden Mickeys. It's a really fun one with little kids to teach them about the concept of doing hidden Mickeys. Hi! All right, we're gonna walk down here and look at a little roller coaster down here in Toontown. Right here, you have Goofy's How to Play Yard. This is a really fun little area for little kids. But one of the things you'll notice, of course, on the top, on the roof, you see Goofy's hat is perched prominently on the roof of the house. All right, right here we have the Chippendale's Gadget Coaster. Now, a lot of times people call it Goofy's Coaster. There's a lot of misnomers on the name, but it is Chippendale's. This is a Chippendale Gadget Coaster. I'm going to show you one of the best hidden Mickeys you can show a child. This is a very simple little roller coaster. It's an excellent first roller coaster for children. It's fun, it's not too scary, and the theming on it is incredible. All right, so when you're waiting in line here, you can show your kids one of these hidden Mickeys right here. Do you see it right there? There's a little circle, the little rocks right there, making a hidden Mickey. It's a nice, easy one for kids to see because they can visualize that one. It makes it very easy for them to see what the hidden Mickeys look like. And there goes the coaster. It's a quick little coaster. It's not too thrilling. But it's enough for kids so they ride it the first time, they love it. Now, right behind me, you have Donald Duck's house. It's his boat. One of my favorite things, though, is the mast in the front. Who does he have in front of his boat? Daisy Duck. And she looks fantastic. One of my favorite characters. I love Daisy so much. All right, we're gonna exit out of Toontown and go into Fantasyland. We'll do all the attractions and rides in Fantasyland, and then from there, I think we'll probably head into Star Wars Land.
Kids area.
I'm trying to figure out the natural progression of how to do this. But can I just say this, if you're enjoying this video and you find this fun or entertaining or you're learning something new, hit the like button. It's free. It's an easy way to let me know that you enjoy this type of content. And if you haven't, hit the subscribe button, because I think I might do this video, another version of this video at Disney California Adventure, and I'll do it with all the attractions there. There's a lot of good secrets at Disney California Adventure, and most people don't seem to know them. So you want to be subscribed to get those get notified when the new video comes out. If you want to watch it, you can choose to watch it. All right, let's head into Fantasyland. Here we are entering into Fantasyland, and the first attraction you see right here is, of course, it's the Storybook Land. It was a little bit mired in controversy. The Storybook Land when it first opened. They didn't have a lot of time, and it was just basically mud banks on the sides, not a lot for people to see. So when people would ride it when it first opened, it was just mud. Then eventually they started redesigning it and made it more of a story type of thing. Hi, how are you? As it became more of a story type event, Walt Disney called this a kiss goodnight. And the only people that could operate the boats when it first opened were men. And the reason he did that is Walt Disney felt that he wanted it to be like how a father would read his children a story before they go to bed. And so only men were allowed to operate this particular attraction. Then after a while, they changed that, and then only women were allowed to operate this particular attraction. Only women could operate it. And until I think 1995, when they ended up saying it didn't matter, both men and women could operate this particular attraction. But it is very fun. It's not the most thrilling attraction, but it's really kind of fun to go through and let your kids see a lot of little miniatures. Storybook Canal. This well here, oh, by the way, scares lots of little children. Sometimes little kids are nervous to ride this attraction because they're worried about getting swallowed by a well. If that's ever the case with your little kid, you can walk all the way down here to the end of it before they get on the ride to show them that it's going to be okay. You walk all the way down here, and right here at the corner, you can see right through there. You say, see, there's an actual opening. You get all the way out. That way they know they're not going to get swallowed by a well. And then also, if you every once in a while, you'll notice that eye opens and closes. All right, let's continue on here in Fantasyland. Let's go look at the teacups. Of course, there's a little tree right here, and this is a perfect place that you can see a view of the teacups. The teacups here, located in California, is the only teacups that does not have a pavilion over it. Every other teacups around the world, no matter where you go, has a covering, an awning over it. Except here in California, they don't. If it ever rains, so they will shut the ride down, but this is the only one that doesn't have a pavilion. It used to be that the teacups were able to spin them really fast, but they put a governor on all the cars, the teacups, so it's very difficult to get them spinning super fast. You read a lot of people say that the purple ones are the fastest. They're all the same. But still a very fun attraction. Now, this attraction is based off the film, the animated film Alice in Wonderland. And Alice in Wonderland is one of the few movies that has 2 attractions based off of it. The other attraction, of course, is Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland is a fun little attraction. If you'll notice right over here, you can see some of the caterpillar's feet on top of the mushroom right here. Let's see if I can see them right there. They are. There's the shoes. All right, so I'm going to describe this one, but then you'll be able to see it for yourself when you ride this attraction. There is, on this attraction, when you go through, you're going to see the cards. They're painting the roses, white to red, because the queen likes red roses. There is a hedge on the left-hand side. So you're facing forward. On the left-hand side, there's a hedge. On the hedge, there's a drop of paint, and it makes the most perfect hidden Mickey. It's red, and you look out, you can see it right on the left-hand side, and it's an easy one to point out to little kids to see the hidden Mickey. Alice in Wonderland, you can see them actually going down, is a double-decker attraction. It actually goes right over, it's on top of Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. It's the same building. Alice in Wonderland's on top, and Mr. Toad's is on the bottom. Oh, I just missed it. The well just did a little spew of water right at the top. So you can kind of keep an eye out for that, because every once in a while the well blows water out the top through the blowhole. All right, so this next attraction we're talking about here is Dumbo, the Flying Elephant. Dumbo, of course, is off of the movie Dumbo. Dumbo's an interesting movie. It's a fantastic movie, but it's the only Disney movie where the main protagonist, who is Dumbo, doesn't have any words, doesn't ever talk during the whole movie. You can hear him cry sometimes and snuffle, but you never actually hear him say any words because he doesn't. This Dumbo machine is actually stolen. What? It was built here in America and it's supposed to be shipped to France. It's going to be in France. But the machine that they had here, the Dumbo machine, only had 12 elephants on it. This one has 16. When they got done building it, they're like, and they just put this one in here. And so this has the 16 elephants going around, and it was meant for France, but we kept it here in America. Dumbo is another movie like Alice in Wonderland that has 2 attractions based off the movie. I'll show you the next one in just a moment. All right, this next one here is Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, hence why they call it ride. It's only an attraction in a Disneyland, it's technically a ride. Very interesting. In the book Wind to the Willows, it talks about Toad Hall, which this is based off of. In Toad Hall, it has 1 fireplace with 7 chimneys. You'll notice this building has 7 chimneys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 chimneys and only 1 fireplace. And that fireplace you bust through at the very beginning of the attraction. Also, the sign right here, Toadai Accelerato, that means the toad accelerates. Semper means forever or always, and absurdity means crazy, or absurd. So it means always crazy or always absurd. Forever crazy or forever absurd. This attraction does have some cool history. So one of the things they did that was very different. It's not in the book, and they also did a movie, The Ichabod Crane, where they showed Mr. Toad. But in Ride, you can go through and they call it the Inferno Room. He dies, gets his sentence, and goes to the Inferno Room. That's not in the book, that's not in the movie. The Disney Imagineers at the time, in the 1950s, that was funny. They thought that was a really funny concept to have them go to in the Inferno Room. So they included that in this attraction. Why did they do that? Nobody really knows. They thought it was funny, but it's not in the book and it's not in the movie. One of my favorite attractions. So, and there's like a little car right out there in front. Good. Get a good photo there of you and your little kids, and then every year come back, get the same photo there with the kids to see how they grow. Let's move down here to probably the most popular attraction in all of Fantasyland. That's Peter Pan. Peter Pan is just an amazing attraction, one of the best attractions. It's so cool. It's right there behind me. It's always crowded. It's an excellent attraction. Now, what you're going to want to notice is you're going to want to notice the mural of Captain Hook when you first get on the ride. Peter Pan's flight right there. I don't know if I can see the mural. I'll see if I can. This attraction's always crowded. There is no fast pass or like a, was it lightning lane or what they call it now, multi-pass for this particular attraction. See Captain Hook? His right hand is holding the telescope and his left hand has the hook. That is correct. But when Imagineers are making this ride, there's a part where Captain Hook and Peter Pan are dueling swords, right? Peter Pan's got a little dagger and Captain Hook has a sword. Well, the way his body's turned is Captain Hook is his right hand was facing Peter Pan. They felt that would be his hook rather than a sword engaging Peter Pan. So they switched the hook to the other hand and put the other hand here. So if you look at the mural, his right hand is right, and then in the attraction, his right hand is the hook. If you look very carefully, in 2016, they added the little crocodile swimming around his ship. Which hand is Captain Hook's hook on? Well, that would depend on when you're looking, because in the movie, the hook is on his left hand, and on the mural for the ride, it's on his left hand. But when the Imagineers were making the ride of Peter Pan, they had Captain Hook and Peter Pan facing off in a duel, and Captain Hook is like this. And his hook is down here. The Imagineers thought he can't have a hook and a sword crossing, so what do? They quickly switched the hook to the other hand and put the sword in his left hand. And at the end of the ride, when he's on the top of the crocodile, he also has a hook on the right hand. Now, Florida, you got it right. Florida's like, what does it matter? They get the hook and the sword cross. That's perfectly fine. All right, we're gonna walk right across to Snow White, the Enchanted Adventure. I wanna show you something here. Most people know this, but it's kind of fun to look at. Right above Snow White, there's a little window there, and every couple of seconds, Evil Queen just wants to take a little peek and see who's looking and who's coming here, and she's gonna close the drapes. Okay, guys. It's called Snow White's Enchanted Witch. It used to be called Snow White's Scary Adventure. The Scary Adventure had a very abrupt ending. It just ended, and all of a sudden Big Book says they lived happily ever after. Well, that was like that for a long time, since 1983. In 2019, I think they redid this. They actually gave the happy ending inside the ride. and it's wonderful. Snow White, of course, was the very first feature full-length animated film that Walt Disney did. People called it Walt's Folly. They said that nobody would ever want to watch a full-length feature animated film, but Walt believed in it and did it. And because of that, Walt Disney became a success. So Snow White, you should check it out. It's a fun attraction. Next up, we have Pinocchio. You can see that this is like wood carving up there. Geppetto was a wood carver. We got Pinocchio right here. Pinocchio's Daring Journey. Now in the attraction, you're gonna see on the, this is the first attraction to ever use, they did, what is it, a holographic mirror. The first time they ever used holograms in an attraction. The little boy is holding a mirror, and then when he turns around, you can see his reflection in the mirror, and it's like a donkey, right? Well, that mirror in the attraction is a hologram. And it's the first time that it's ever been done, and it goes by very fast, but it's the first time they ever did the hologram in an attraction. Pinocchio is also the very first ever attraction that had a happy ending inside the attraction. You'll see if you don't just end with like a little book saying, hey, everything's great, and lived happily ever after. Nope, inside the attraction, there's a happy ending. Right behind me is King Arthur's Carousel. King Arthur's Carousel spins 6 times. The horses always start and stop in the exact same spot. Walt was curious when he was watching kids and families getting on carousels. He noticed that everybody wanted to be on the white horse. They always were fighting to get on the white horse. That was the most popular one. So what did Walt do? He made sure that every single horse here on King Arthur's Carousel was white because he didn't want kids fighting. Each one of the horses has their own name. Well, thank you so much. Each one of the horses has their own name, and you get a list of names. You go down downtown to City Hall, you get a list of names, or you just pick it up off of the internet. But they all have their own names. Also, something interesting is all the different parks, it's named something different. In Florida, it's Sir Lancelot's. In Paris, I think it's Merlin's carousel. What is the difference between a carousel and a merry-go-round? A carousel only goes left, and the horses go up and down. Where I think a merry-go-round, the carousel, it can go right or left, and the horses don't always move. That's what I've been told. I don't know if that's accurate. But now we're gonna kind of walk this way and go check out Casey Jr.'s train. Next attraction here is Casey Jr.'s train. This is also based off the movie Dumbo. Dumbo, of course, the train that pulls the circus is Casey Jr. train, and they use the voice from the movie, like I think I can, I thought I could. That's all from the movie Dumbo. Casey Jr. train. You see those cars right there? Those came off the carousel when Walt bought the carousel right over there. They wanted to retrofit it with all horses. They took those little things off and put those right there from the carousel as little cars here on Casey Jr.'s train. Some interesting history. Some people say it was an opening day attraction, others say it wasn't. The reason is it technically opened on opening day, but it wasn't calibrated with the correct weight. So when you go up the hill, the driver, the engineer, had to lean way forward to keep the engine from tipping over. So only ran for a little bit on opening day, and they closed it down. Then they put heavy lead weights in the front of that engine, and then after a couple of weeks, they reopened it again and started running again without having to have the engineer put all the weight to keep the engine from tipping over. So was it an opening day attraction? I like to think so, because it did open, was there, not the whole day, but it was on the opening day attraction. One of my favorite attractions. You got to take your little kids on this one. It's a lot of fun. It's something that's overlooked a lot, but it just gives you a really good feeling when you ride this attraction. Casey Jr. Chain, one of my favorites. All right, I got to stop and get some water as it's hot, and I usually carry a bunch of water in my backpack, but last night I took them all out and I forgot to put them back in, so let's get some water. It's important. You have to hydrate at Disney. It doesn't matter what time of year you come. Even in January, you always have to have a lot of liquid. When I was dating a girl one time, she told me that when you swallow liquids, it's the loudest I've ever heard. And ever since, I've always been a little self-conscious of that. But you know what? That's what my body does. All right, guys, I think we've walked all the way through and did all the attractions in Fantasyland. So now we're going to enter into Frontierland, but then we'll enter into Galaxy's Edge. That's really what we're trying to do. Do you guys call it Galaxy's Edge? I just call it Star Wars Land. Like if I said to my mom, I'm like, hey, let's go to Batuu, she'd be like, what? But if I said, let's go to Star Wars Land, she'd be like, yeah, down for that. Also, it's kind of weird. You know how they have the introduction, like bright suns and all that? I didn't understand that because never saw like Luke Skywalker, like say like bright suns or, you know, whatever. And so my mom doesn't get that. My wife, Amanda, doesn't get that. They're like, why are we doing this? What does this have to do with anything? I don't know. I just want to say, may the force be with you to everybody I see once I walk in here. All right, let's go check out the 2 attractions in here. All right, I'm walking in here into Tomorrowland, and this is, I'm not Tomorrow, whoa. Walking into Fantasyland. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I'm walking into Batu, guys, Star Wars Land. Let's get in here and talk about this land. I feel like it has so much potential. I feel like it started, like this is, I do like 1.0 version of it. I feel like that as the years go on, it's gonna keep upgrading this land to make it even better and better. All right, let's go check out the attractions. There's Kylo and Stormtroopers. I was just trying to walk through and I got trapped in here by Kylo Ren. I want to go up those stairs. I love it. I love it. All right, let's go. The first attraction we're looking at here is Smuggler's Run. There she is. I think if you grew up with Star Wars, there's not a cooler ship in the world than the Millennium Falcon. The Millennium Falcon is what just, we all wanted to fly it. We all wanted to be in it. We all wanted it to escape. We wanted to do adventures in it. First time I came into Batu and I saw it, I actually got like emotional. I felt like I was seeing a friend, an old friend I hadn't seen forever, just seeing it. I don't know if that even makes sense, but I love that ship. All right, this here is the entrance to Smuggler's Run. Smuggler's Run, you get to obviously pilot the Millennium Falcon. Now, there are 2 different story modes in this, and let me rephrase that, except people think I'm talking about Chewie mode. I'm not. I'll talk about that in a moment. What it is you either get 1 or 2 coaxium pods, depending how good it is. And that really depends on how good your pilot is. The better pilot you have, the better chance you have of getting 2 coaxiums. So there's this. You can also turn on the Chewie mode. Chewie mode, if you don't know how to do it, you have to hit all the buttons before it starts. And if you don't know how to do that, ask a cast member, say, is the Chewie awake? And they'll help you do that sometimes. So it's a really fun attraction. And it is, just so you know, you're sitting in kind of like a cockpit like that, and there's a dome around it, like my hand is a dome. It's a giant screen, so you're literally looking at a giant screen through the windows. It's an amazing attraction. All right, so we're gonna go to the next attraction, which is Rise of Resistance. Probably the greatest attraction here at Disneyland. Really though, is it an attraction? It's almost a story. You get captured, you escape. The storytelling is amazing. It's wonderful. But I've had some people say, well, they don't really count it as a ride or attraction. They said it's more of an interactive storytelling with thematic elements. Hard to argue against that, but I will say that almost every single person who's ever ridden it for the first time, when they get out of it, they're like, that was amazing. So let's go check out Rise of Resistance. Here we are at the entrance to Rise of Resistance. This is the only attraction in all of Disneyland that you can pay to skip the line outside of the multi-pass, the Lightning Lane multi-pass. There's a special thing you pay, and it varies how much it costs, anywhere from $14 to like $20-something per person to ride this attraction if you want to skip the line. Or you can just wait in it. Wait, and if you're like, I don't mind waiting, then you can wait, which I think lines are just part of life, guys. Lines are part of life. Let's talk about this ride opened later. So the Smuggler's Run is the first ride to open here in Batu. This ride opened a little bit later. And a lot of people thought that Disney did that to stagger the opening so that it wasn't so crowded. Actually, the real reason was what happened is this is a trackless attraction. No track. But there are little sensors in the ground which helps the cars know where to go to. Well, what happened is that when they were burying those sensors, some of them got buried a little bit too deep, and the car was having a hard time recognizing where the sensors were. So they had to repave the whole thing again without having sensors quite so deep. So yeah, that's a little bit of a whoopsie there. Caused a delayed opening. All right, so when you wait in the line, after you wait in line, you're gonna go through, you're gonna see Ray, she's like, you're your only hope type of thing. Then you're gonna go outside and usher you outside, and you're gonna get on this transport. This is called the ITS ship. Now, if you take a look at that ship, up where the doors are, right in front of you, you look up, and then to the left, you're gonna see a stylized number of 28 on that ship. You have to kind of look for it, but that 28 stands for 1928, which is the year Mickey Mouse was created. This is a very popular attraction, so the line gets to be very, very long. But it's worth it. I would have to say this is one of those attractions. You just, like if you're coming to Disneyland, if you've never been here, or even if you've been here, this is one you should definitely spend time doing. All right, we're gonna walk out. This is gonna take us out kind of by Critter Country. I guess it now is the Bayou, I guess, Tiana's Bayou. Huh? Oh, okay, so we're gonna be walking into Tiana's Bayou, I guess is what it's called. And we'll go look at the attractions there, and then we'll head into New Orleans Square. Then it'll take us into Frontierland. We'll end in Adventureland. I think we're making good pace. We're covering a lot of attractions here. Again, put it down in the comments down below. What is your favorite secret you've learned so far on this this video? I hope you guys are enjoying it. Thank you for joining us. Now, if you're thinking about coming to Disneyland, you're like, I want to go down, I want to see some of these things for myself. The best way to do it is you're going to put call 1-855-GETAWAY, 1-855-GETAWAY, and when they answer, tell them Provost Park Pass sent you, and you're gonna get the best deals you can on the hotels down here and also on your tickets for Disneyland. And when you tell them Provost Park Pass sent you and you're getting a hotel, they'll tell you all the hotels that have special deals. Like sometimes they have like a 3rd night free, and some hotels have a 4th night free, but you'll then be eligible for all those deals that it's going on, save a little extra money, which is what I'm all about because it's expensive, right? Or if you don't feel comfortable calling, some people don't like to call, you click the link down below, the link will take care of it. That'll also get you all the deals. All right, guys, here we are, the canoes. I love the canoe guys, they're the best. I love the canoes. I love to like yell and have fun with them, and they are so fun. And the canoes is a very fun attraction. It's not on a track. A lot of people think it's on a track, but it's not. That guy is literally controlling the rudder, and then that guy at the front, he's telling them to go. The canoes has been in. There they go, canoes. There they go. Anyways, the canoes are fun. The canoes has been in more lands than any other attraction. You know, it's been the same. So I think it was in Frontierland, then it was in Critter Country, it was in Bear Country before Critter Country, and now it's gonna be in Tiana's Bayou, I guess. The Bayou, Bayou Country. So the canoes gets around, man. It is a workout though. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's a total workout. They don't even know. I can't even hear them. They don't even know how awesome, how lucky they are. I love it. I love you guys. The canoes are my favorite. The guys are awesome, and I enjoy it. And I enjoy the cast members who work on the canoes. They're always very friendly. Okay, let's just move on. Move on up here. I do like to go and like kind of harass the canoe employees, the cast members and employees, and kind of like yell at them a little bit and just have fun. It's all in good ribbing, good nature, and they always are really fun with that. And I just think they're the best. I just love it. So I'm gonna actually see how. Sometimes they're not even busy, and they'll have a guy out here or a girl out here trying to say, "Hey guys, come and ride the canoes." So, oh hi, how are you? Shocking. There's actually a line to do the canoes, which is awesome. I love that. All right, let's go into the new land here. There's only one attraction in this new land. Well, I guess maybe the canoes is. I'm not exactly sure how that's gonna work out. Let's go down here to Winnie the Pooh. It's looking really good, Tiana's Bayou. I like they have a nice little entrance, new entrance there. Makes it easier for people so they're not getting out in lines like this. Hi! There's Winnie the Pooh with a new fence to get in. And we'll walk right down here and check out Winnie the Pooh. Fun attraction. Now, if you look here, you got the little awnings, apparently. The Tiana's Bayou looking very good. All right, so Winnie the Pooh. This was the very first attraction that Disneyland ever had where somebody who's in a wheelchair or maybe a mobility electric convenience vehicle, you don't have to disembark to get on the attraction. You can just roll right on the attraction. They made it that way on purpose, which is really cool. The other thing is, a lot of people don't realize, is that Winnie the Pooh's having a dream. Then it's his birthday. After he has his birthday, he's given, what does he get for his birthday? Honey. Honey, honey, honey. That's all he wants is honey. Check this out. All right, so over here is the entrance into Winnie the Pooh. Just a normal entrance. Notice there's no honey, just a normal little entrance there. But at the end of the ride, what is he given for his birthday? A bunch of honey. What happens? Well, let me show you. Walk right down here. And he's given so much honey that it is just bursting at the seams. It's coming out of the roof, it's coming out the doors. It's all he wanted was honey, honey, honey. So you walk around to the exit down here, and what does Winnie the Pooh have? There's the exit, and you can see all the honey. Kind of a fun little detail there. A lot of people miss that, but there's a ton of honey coming out at the exit. Honey, honey, honey. There's honey there, there. You got honey there. Of course, there's honey there, and even along the track down there, there's honey, because he's giving so much honey for his birthday. At the end of the ride, you can hear some bees buzzing. Now, Disney, when they did this, they wanted an authentic sound of bees buzzing. So they reached a bee farmer and they ordered a dozen bees. They had the bees shipped to a sound studio so they could record the buzzing sound. When they opened up the box, instead of 12 bees, there was 13 bees in the box. So they reached out to the bee farmer and said, hey, there's a extra bee in here. And the guy's like, oh, that's a free bee.
I don't think this is the time for that type of humor.
Yeah, let's get a ticker tail. Walking in here. I love this place and I want to get a ticker tail. This is all I want. Let's just go here. Here it is. Oh. They must be learning. They're handling everything. This is the best treat right here. How are we doing today, guys? And people disagree with me, but then when you try it, you're like, it's so good. You have to like orange though, okay? Let's get it. And then here's a little secret. This is just a marshmallow wand, right? A normal one. There's only 3 marshmallows in here. This one has 4 marshmallows, and the price is the same. Get that extra marshmallow. It's too good. I missed it. It's so good. I love it. I love this treat. And it was closed for a while, and I never wanted to get it. If I can't get it at Pooh Corner, I don't want it. This is where you have to get it. There's a lot of caramel. Now, I haven't done any secrets revealed on Tiana's Bayou Adventure because it's not open yet, and I don't know what the secrets are going to be until it's opened. Once it does, I'll come back. I'll do a whole video on it and tell you all the secrets and all the cool things and things that most people miss when they ride that attraction. When it opens up, the Tiana's Bayou Adventure, of course, I'll do a whole in-depth video on it. I'll let it be open for a little while so that way people can enjoy the ride, and then I'll come back and do a whole secrets revealed of that particular attraction. All right, so let's go down here. We're going to now go into New Orleans Square. All right, we're walking over this bridge, which is going to take us into New Orleans Square. And from here, there's 2 attractions we need to talk about. This is going to be the exit of the Haunted Mansion. It's going to be a little gift shop. This is the Haunted Mansion. The Haunted Mansion now is open right now for the holiday overlay. And it opened it up this year in July, and people were like, why did they open it? That's too early. Well, it's because if they would have opened it as a normal Haunted Mansion, it would have been open for like a week, and they would have closed it down and retheme it for the holidays. So they just opened it a little bit early, and yes, what's your name? All right, so we got the Haunted Mansion here. But before we get to that, I just realized I gotta talk about the Columbia. Almost didn't talk about the Columbia, so let's get over there and do that. All right, I almost walked past the Columbia, guys. I didn't even talk about this. This is an attraction. It's not selling today, but it's a 3-mast ship. Now, right under this center mast, if you could lift up that pole, the mast, I guess, there is a nickel underneath that. And I guess that's the old sailing tradition to put a nickel under the center mast. And some people say that's to pay Charon, the ferryman for the River Styx. Other people say it's to pay the toll to Poseidon to keep the ocean calm. Whatever the tradition is, this particular ship does have a nickel under the center mast. Another interesting thing about this particular attraction is there is a museum. You get on it, you go down into it, and you can see like a museum. They have bellows and things. It's a lot of fun. A lot of people don't even do that. You should definitely do that. Right there, the back. See that back of their boat? I had a little burp there because the ticker tail. Good grief, I apologize. But that, you can go right in there, and there's like a little museum there as well. Right there, that's a little museum there. Now, of course, here comes the Mark Twain. I love the Mark Twain. There it is. This is truly a paddle boat. It is a steam-powered engine, and it's just as if it's authentic on the Mississippi. So they do allow people periodically, as the captain's discretion, to go up into the boathouse, the Wayne House, I guess. But you see right there, that's where the steam comes out. Those little right there, not the giant, not the gold ones, but those ones at the end, right there. Perfect. You'll notice the top has a different type of railing. The reason is because when they started doing Fantasmic, they wanted people to be able to see the performer, so they changed the railing to be a little more see-through at the top. Yeah, it's really cool. I love it. And then, of course, right down here, you've got the paddle wheel. Mark Twain, named after the American author Mark Twain, but his name was actually Samuel Clemens. Maybe it was Clemens. He liked the name Mark Twain. Mark Twain means Mark II, means that it's deep enough for a boat to cross on the river. And they go, Mark Twain. That means it's 2 marks down. I think 1 mark is 12 feet, so, or 6 feet, and so 2 Twains is 12 feet deep. There goes the canoes. Love it. Hi. Oh, hi. And right here, this is the rafts to Tom Sawyer Island, or also now it's called Pirate's Lair. Pirate's Lair here, or I still call it Tom Sawyer's Island, this attraction was 100% designed by Walt Disney. He mapped out the entirety of it, all the caves, everything there. This was all done by Walt Disney. Yeah, this is completely designed by Walt Disney himself. And I mean, every inch of it was designed by Walt Disney. And it's kind of crazy because you go through the caves get very narrow. And that's just how they designed it. So they are replacing this island in Disney World. Nothing's been announced here. I hope they never do this here because this is truly Walt Disney's creation. But you know, they're always trying to look for park improvements, any way they can to improve the park. Canoes. I love them. You know, if you are on the canoes and it tipped over, you can wear it as a hat because then it's capsized.
Right, not the time for jokes.
All right, so let's go back here. Probably the most popular attraction is the Haunted Mansion. It's interesting because the Haunted Mansion has changed over the years. It was very popular. It has always been a popular, but as the years go on, it gets more and more and more popular. And it's just been like a shift where people now love it and are obsessed with it. And why do you think that is? I think it has a lot to do with nostalgia as a kid. So you wrote as a kid, and now you want your kids to write it, or you have good memories of it. So you just want to be part of it, recapture some of that magic here at the Haunted Mansion. This attraction probably has more secrets about it than any other attraction, but I'll give you a couple here to tide you over. First off, you'll see that the Haunted Mansion has its own little popcorn cart. It's really designed for New Orleans Square, but it's very heavily influenced by the Haunted Mansion, the colors. When you get in the attraction, so this here attraction in Disneyland, of course, the stretching room really is an elevator. It's taking you down so you can walk down the hallway underneath the railroad tracks. Now, when you're walking down that hallway, if you go to the left side, most of you are looking at the right side, but you go left side and there's some windows there, lighting. If you look through the window, look down, you see a giant disco ball there. That disco ball is shining light on it and have it twirl slowly. It gives the illusion of rain falling outside the windows. So it's just really cool. But this one really is an elevator that takes you down. Now in Florida, the ceiling actually raises up and so you stay on the same level, but they have the same effect there. But yeah, it serves a purpose. It's an elevator. All right, let's continue on here to New Orleans Square. All right, so we're gonna walk down here in front of Pirates Caribbean. Pirates Caribbean, in my opinion, could be the most perfect ride. Very interesting because what happened is that Walt was here and he was walking by the Jungle Cruise. This is like 1956, 57, right around there. And apparently he heard a little boy say, "Let's ride the Jungle Cruise." And the mom's like, "Oh, no, we rode that last time, so not to ride it again." And that's when Walt realized, like, we have to have a rewritability so people can ride their rides over and over and still enjoy them. That was the goal for Pirates Caribbean. And in my opinion, that was probably the most perfect example of the perfect ride because you could every this ride probably more than any other ride, Pirates Caribbean, and I still love going on it and learn all about it. Pirates Caribbean has multiple animatronics, but 3 of them have a name. You hear the names. Do you guys know what the names are? Well, it's pretty simple. One, you got Bill. Bill's with a cat, and he's talking to the cats, and he's like, oh, get drunk with old Bill here. The other one, you hear Carlos. You hear Carlos. He's the mayor being lowered into the well, and his wife's like, don't be chicken, Carlos. So you're like Carlos. And then the other one is Captain Jack Sparrow, because you hear the one pirate talk about it. He's like looking, he's like, as long as Captain Jack doesn't see this map. Those are the only named characters in the attraction. Of course, there is Red, the pirate, but she's never individually named the attraction. So you got Bill, Carlos, and Captain Jack Sparrow are the only animatronics in the attraction that are truly named. Pirates, guys, such a fun attraction. So good, love it. Now I'm going to take us into Adventureland. We'll do attractions in Adventureland, and then we'll end up in Frontierland. All right, here we are. This is the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse. So originally it was the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse, and then they turned it into the Tarzan Treehouse, and now it's called the Adventureland Treehouse, inspired by the Swiss Family Robinson. Now, of course, the story is a family of 5. They were on a ship. The ship crashed. They ended up raising the ship and turned this whole into this giant treehouse where they live for safety. Before you go up, if you wait out here by the kitchen area and you watch that little teapot, that teapot is whistling. You hear it. As you walk through this treehouse, you want to look at these different signs. They tell you about, like, this is the father is a Renaissance man, artisan, craftsman, inventor, and chef to all the delightful meals. But really, what you want to notice is the sign. This is the kitchen area. So it's got fish, right? It's because this is where they probably eat a lot of fish here. So that's their kitchen area. Look at the signs. This next sign here is the studio. It's where they wondrous workshop. Here we create everything that we dream of for our beautiful treetop home. You'll notice, of course, it's like an artist palette because it's a studio. A lot of stairs on this one though, just so you know. Yeah, stairs. Up, 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 up. Let's go. Of course, this is Mother's Magical Music Parlor, and their sign, all about musical instruments. And the daughter, she studies astronomy, so you got a sun and a moon. And of course, this is the area, the roost for the animals. Signs about animals. I think I'm gonna have to do a video on the deep dive of this particular attraction. I've never done that. And I'll go through all the secrets revealed of this attraction. I'll do that soon. All right, let's get a little bit deeper into Adventureland. Take a look at these next attractions here. Next one coming up is gonna be Indiana Jones, the Temple of the Forbidden Eye. Very popular attraction, very good attraction, one of the best attractions. It's amazing. Here it is. Of course, this attraction here is fantastic. It has one of the longest queues of all the rides in all of Disneyland. It's over almost a quarter of a mile to walk to get on the ride, but it's very interactive, very fun. The reason and as you're walking, you'll notice it's going down, 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 a slight gentle slope, because you have to go deep enough to go underneath the railroad track. Once you go underneath the railroad track, it goes flat, and then you'll start going back up. So I had to go all the way around underneath the railroad track. Now, here's another thing. I've talked about this a lot on the channel because I love this. This is one of my favorite things. So in Raiders Lost Ark, when Indiana Jones, he's like, truck, what truck? And he starts chasing a truck, remember that? And he's trying to get the Ark of the Covenant. This is the actual truck from the movie that they used. It's an actual, it's not a replica, it's the real truck that they had. Now, the only thing that's been added to this truck is if you look right here, they've actually painted over it. This little bar here was added by the stuntman. That was a little white golf ball there. They put that there so when the stuntman's driving, he could see exactly where the truck was, so he knew exactly to keep it in a trench. So when they're pulling the stuntman, pretending to be Harrison Ford, he didn't get off the wrong way. So that's the only thing that's added to this truck was little golf balls. They must have recently painted over it because that golf ball was not. When you watch the movie, you can see that golf ball and that one, and they're not brown, they're white, and they used to always be white, so they must have recently painted over them. All right, we'll continue on here in Adventureland. This is Jungle Cruise. Jungle Cruise is currently not open. It's closed today. Jungle Cruise has very interesting history. It was one of the first attractions, on opening day attraction. One of Walt's favorites. And in fact, it was Walt's favorite. But when they were designing it, Walt wanted real animals. He wanted real animals. He thought that'd be kind of educational and kind of cool. And as they were designing it, like, was it some biologist, a zoologist, or they came and told him, like, well, that's a bad idea because the animals, first, would be scared of the boat. And number two, most of the animals are nocturnal. And they'd be sleeping. It'd be very boring because they wouldn't be around to see. So that's really, because of that, then, okay, we have to do animatronics. So because of that, they started doing animatronics. And that's how we got the animatronics here at Jungle Cruise. Also, for the first couple of years, hi guys! For the first couple of years, the Jungle Cruise, it wasn't funny. It was an educational ride where they get on and say, okay, here we are, blah, 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 blah. And then they started adding jokes. And now it is one of the funnest attractions. I love the skippers. They're all funny. They're all great. And I love it. So Jungle Cruise, yeah. Because they couldn't have animals, they got animatronics. This is a tropical hideaway, but if you look right down here, you can see a rug, which made me think of Aladdin. You know, Aladdin got banned from using it because he was using performance-enhancing rugs. All right, guys, we're just gotta come around here, and we're almost done with Adventureland. Then we'll go into Frontierland. So Adventureland, we're gonna come right around here, and we're going to see Walt Disney's Tiki Room. So you'll notice on the sign right here, it says Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room. The reason it says Walt Disney is when they wanted to do this idea, they didn't have enough money. They had money that Walt had borrowed from the bank, and they didn't have enough money to cover this. So Walt decided he really wanted it though, so he actually came up with his own idea. He financed it out of his own pocket. He paid for this himself because he really wanted it. So that's why it's called Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room. It's the only attraction that actually has Walt Disney's name in it because he paid for it. The original idea, though, that Walt wanted, he wanted it to be like a restaurant. The idea was to be a restaurant. You can eat, and have the birds kind of sing and all that. And the idea was scrapped because they realized the problem was people were so enthralled by the animatronics and looking up the whole time that they weren't going to be eating a dinner, or they weren't able to clear out the restaurant to have the next show. So they ended up scrapping the whole restaurant idea and just had the show of the Enchanted Tiki Room. But when you go in there, you kind of look around, you can see, oh yeah, I can see what this is designed to, it really has a restaurant vibe, the floor plan. But they just put chairs in there because they were worried that people would be too enthralled by the animatronics to eat dinner. So yeah, cool. Walt's Enchanted Tiki Room. All right, guys, we've done a lot. I think we've done a lot. Let's walk this way and we're turn left and go right into Frontierland. I could have turned around, but I like to walk in Frontierland this way because I like to see the sign that says Frontierland. Doesn't the Matterhorn look gorgeous? I think it's just really pretty. Now on the other side, this is kind of south side. On the other side, there's more snow because it's the north face. All right, we're turning this way. And we're gonna go right in here into Frontierland. This is the most popular land in Disneyland Paris. It's Frontierland, they love it, they love it. They didn't have something like this, you know, like if we had maybe like here in America, if we had like maybe like medieval land of knights, we would love it because we don't have that. But they didn't have cowboys and stuff like that, the Wild Wild West. So Disneyland Paris, this is their most popular land. Let's walk in to Frontierland. All right, guys, we're gonna walk right here. And I don't know if this is an attraction or not, but we can talk about it. This is the shooting exposition. Pew pews. The rifles. In Florida, they are getting rid of it. In Japan, this is one of the most popular attractions because when you do it, they give you a little souvenir for depending how good of a shot you are. It's amazing. A lot of fun here. All right, let's continue down here. We're going to turn right. Let's see Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Fantastic attraction, excellent, very good roller coaster. It was, I would say if you're a parent and you have little kids, Big Thunder is probably the first big roller coaster you might want to get a child on. Like it's, you know, way more thrilling than the Gadget Go coaster. And when they ride it, the kids seem to love it, and it's kind of, hi, how are you? Hi guys. It's a very good introduction to roller coaster. It makes them feel like they can do it, they can accomplish something big, which it is a big deal going on a roller coaster like that. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Let's go right over here. Here we are. It takes place in the Rainbow Ridge. It's a mining town, hence why they all have pickaxes. See the pickaxes right out here? If you go right on the ride, nobody in the Rainbow Ridge actually drinks because they're all miners. Big Thunder Railroad was the very first attraction ever to be aided by a computer. Oh, and hi, how are you?
I love.
Hi, how are you? I can't remember what I was saying. I think I was talking about how it was the first computer assisted roller coaster. Tony Baxter designed it, and they used a computer to let them know if it can run, because it runs off kinetic energy, which means that it doesn't have thrusters or an engine pulling it. It has to have gravity, so they pull you up, and then it just goes. The gravity takes you and lets you run. So it was the very first ever roller coaster, and they run it. They map it, and then the computer come back and spit out and says, "This isn't going to work. It's not going to work." And it would take hours and hours and hours, days and weeks for it to like render one track, and then let them know. So yeah, it's really cool. Now this next secret is one of my very favorite of all the attractions. There are 4 Big Thunder Mountain Railroads around the world at 4 different parks. And there's a signpost pointing to all 4 right there. So let's take a look at it. Tumbleweed is in Paris. Rainbow Ridge is right here in California. I'm sorry, wait. I got that confused, I think. And then Thunder Mesa is, let's start again. Tumbleweed is in Japan. No, just a second. I can't remember now, let me figure this out. Tumbleweed is in Florida. Rainbow Ridge is in right here, just 76 feet away, right there. Thunder Mesa is in Paris, and Grizzly Gulch is in Japan. And another little fun fact, if you look at it, the one Tumbleweed, it says miles because we're in the United States, and then Thunder Mesa and Grizzly Gulch are in kilometers because they are not on the same system we are in the United States. All right, guys, I think I got all the attractions. If I missed some, put it down in the comments down below if I missed any. Because I get a little brain fried walking around trying to do them all. Hi, how are you? If I did miss an attraction, put it down in the comments down below. But I think I got them all. I think this would be a lot of fun to do this again in Disney California Adventure. We could hit that and go through every single attraction there. They got some crazy secrets over there at DCA. But I hope you enjoy this video. Could you do me a favor? One, if you haven't, hit the like button. It's free and it's something you do. It just says thank you for doing this. And number 2, feel free to subscribe. You can subscribe to this channel, and it's free. It's free. And then you'll get notified and you'll see the title of the video. If you're like, I want to watch that, you can click the button to watch it. If you don't, hi guys. And then if you don't want to watch it, then don't watch it. But yeah, that way you guys can kind of be up to date on all the happenings in Disney. And if there's any breaking news, you'll always be the first to know. All right, guys, I do need to talk to you guys about a few more things, and then we'll end the video. So hang on, I got one more secret I want to show you about Big Thunder. You know, in Big Thunder, and then we go up the 3rd hill, that's when it has an explosion, and the explosion, it's, you know, you're going in there, and there's dynamite and all that. Well, the way they used to have to set the dynamite off those days, it was a plunger. They pushed like this box that pulls thing up, and they push it down. That would cause a spark, which would then ignite the dynamite. Well, the plunger for that is over here. Let me show it to you. We're walking right over here. It's kind of hard to see. Let's make sure you can see it. Where is it? I think I passed it when I was talking to you guys. Ah, there it is. There's the plunger. I don't even know how long this video is. It's filming. I'll have to figure this out when I edit it. But I do need to take a quick moment to talk to you. So I got to find a little spot, and I'm gonna tell you why I do that, and then we'll end the video. I was walking out and I realized we didn't talk about this attraction, the castle. We gotta talk about the castle. This, of course, is the back of the castle, and there is a walkthrough, you walk through right over there, and go through the castle and see the Sleeping Beauty adventure. So that was not originally the intent of it. They didn't have that walkthrough, but they added that. Sleeping Beauty Castle, you walk through the castle. Now, something interesting, a lot of people do know this, but it's fun to know, is that right there, I'm gonna actually walk around this square tree. That is the front of the castle, the top part. There's multiple stories as to why that is. You kind of pick and choose, but that should be the front of the castle. So when they made the model, one rumor is that the Imagineer put it at the top on backwards as a joke for Walt Disney, see if he noticed. He did notice, and he thought it was cooler, and he liked it better. So he says, do it like that. He felt that the back was more welcoming, and so that should be the front, even though that's the back. Beautiful castle. Another really interesting thing about this castle, if you've been to any other Disney parks, you'll know this. It's a tiny castle compared to every other castle. Now, if you've only been to Disneyland, it seems magnificent. It seems beautiful. Until you go to like Florida or to Disneyland Paris or Tokyo, and you look at the castle. And, hi guys! When you go to those castles, you see how big they are. You're like, wow, Disneyland's is small. But it's small for a reason. Walt Disney was very concerned with having a huge castle. So that's the back of the castle, by the way. The top part, as Walt was concerned that a large castle would be intimidating to children, and so he made it a little bit smaller to make it more manageable for children. The Disneyland band's playing. We gotta go check it out, because I love them. Here they go. I love the band. I need to find a spot to talk to you. All right, guys, here's the deal. I need to tell you, sometimes people are like, well, why do you say those messages and stuff like that? I feel like sometimes the world's a little out of balance. I feel like there's a lot of negativity, and I'm not sure why that's happened. I want there to be some positivity. And I want you to know that I am talking to you. I think you are amazing. And you know what makes you amazing? You. That's right. I don't care. I don't care about your political view or your religious view or any of your views. What makes you is you, and I think you are amazing. And you are awesome. Hi, guys. And I want you to know that you make the world a better place. If you are suffering from a little depression or some sadness or maybe feel a little more melancholy, it gets better. I've been there personally, and some days all you can do is just get out of bed. That's all you can do, and that's an accomplishment. I think you are amazing. And I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that we're friends. You make the world a better place. All right, guys, I'm just gonna walk down Main Street and we'll end the video. I think we should keep this party going, guys. Let's do another video where I go to Disney California Adventure. That one's gonna really have to twist a little noggin, because I have to remember all the facts on DCA. But I'll try to go to every single attraction and do something there about every attraction. I'll maybe be in the next video. So yeah, hit that subscribe so you get notified when that happens. And also, I just want you to know at the end of our video, we have a card that goes up and has all these names on. Those are our Patreon members for Provost Park Pass. If you would like your name on that particular card, you can click the link down below and become a Patreon for as little as $3 a month. Also, for limited time only, our top tier, the top two tiers, the Platinum and the Professor level of our Patreon, if you become one of those levels, we'll schedule a phone call with you, so you have a phone call with Amanda. That's right. Hi, guys. You have a phone call with Amanda and be able to talk with her. She'll give you advice on travel or just talk about whatever you want, and you guys have a little bit of Amanda time on the phone. And that's for our top tiers Patreon if you want to do that. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next video. Let's do DCA and continue on. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, bye-bye. Oh, thank you. Disneyland has so many attractions, and I tried to give you one little secret on each attraction. And then I realized when I was editing this video, I didn't talk about the railroad train, the Disneyland Railroad, which is an amazing attraction. And did I miss any other ones? I don't think so. But if I did, put it down in the comments down below, and I'll see you tomorrow when we talk about DCA.